So we've got Daryl Orlando Ledbetter of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution joining us, beat writer for the Atlanta Falcons. We're going to talk some Falcons fantasy football. Daryl, thank you so much for joining the show, my man.
Sure, no problem. Thanks for having me.
I said earlier that that's one of the games I'm most excited for week one. And a lot of it comes down to, I feel like both teams have so many question marks, so many unknowns for like what we're going to see out on that field. And the biggest one for me, maybe you can give us a little bit of insight, is the running back situation for the Atlanta Falcons. Are we going to see Cordarrelle Patterson as that lead back again to start the year, you think?
Yeah, he's the number one back. He'll be backed up by Damian Williams, and then Tyler Algier, the rookie, is going to be the third back for the Falcons. We expect them run heavy attack with Marcus Mariota at quarterback. So both of those guys should get a lot of work on Sunday.
That's the Arthur Smith way, though, right? So, and that's the way you want it to be when you have that guy as your coach. Now, I heard you say Tyler Algier is the third back. We're a big fantasy football show. I can tell you right now, there's a lot of folks in the fantasy football community that are not going to be happy with what you just said. I'll tell you, because people are drafting him thinking, there's a thing we do in the fantasy community where we just say, oh, it's a rookie upside, and just kind of go crazy with it. But so you think Dame Williams has carved out a role, at least second behind Patterson?
Yeah, he's the Mike Davis of, the fantasy people know last year Mike came in as the one back. That didn't work out so well. Cordarrelle took over. And so Damian's going to come in that role, short yardage, third down role. That way they can move Cordarrelle outside at that point. But, yeah, he's the two back. The rookie's got to learn how to pick up blitzes and, make all the calls and all that. He could very well be the long play in fantasy for, later on in the season. And maybe he can be a bell cow back. But this is a season of experimentation, and the rookies, what they can do will be explored throughout the course of this season. That's the same situation Ridder's in. He might not start out as but he may end up as one.
Yeah. So speaking about the rookies, I actually saw you tweet about the Drake London, his situation, where he is with the injury. What's the latest on Drake London?
Yeah, Drake, returned to practice yesterday and went right to work with the offense in the open portion. We were only there for 30. Yeah, they count 10 minutes of stretching as part of our open thing, which, that's a bad deal. But, but we did get to see he was running. He did have a sleeve on the leg. He wasn't hit very hard. The team said he wasn't hit very hard. My guy, Dr. Chow, the internet doctor, said it didn't look like a real serious injury. Just looked like an extra degree of caution for the Falcons. And, on Monday here, Tuesday actually, earlier in the week, I'm fully expecting him to go. Coach says he's progressing, and they will see where he's at. Great in the offseason. And if he's 80% or more, they're going to try to play him.
Everyone's expecting the Twin Towers, the Drake London and Kyle Pitts. If you had to pick a next guy to be potentially fantasy relevant, would you say it's a Brian Edwards, Olamide Zaccheaus? If you were trying to give people advice on who could accumulate targets or stats after that, is there a guy that stands out, or do you think it's going to be a lot of two tight end sets, fullback coming in? I know you guys got Keith Smith over there. What are your thoughts on if there can be a wide receiver that's
the relevant? Kind of bonus sleeper candidate would be Cordarrelle Hodge. Him and Marcus Mariota had a good relationship in the exhibition season. He didn't have any problems throwing him the ball. He can get open on those deep end cuts that Arthur Smith likes. He would be the guy that I think, your sleeper guy. I mean, you can see a split between him and Zaccheaus, but, their routes, you're not going to run Zaccheaus over the middle all game, but you will do that with Hodge. So Hodge would be my next man up guy. I think Edwards is going to be on the field and functioning on third downs mostly. That's when he might be a target. when the other guys are getting all the attention.
We talked a lot about these like secondary options or where the question marks are, but I feel like there's one player on the Falcons where there is no question mark. It's just he's the dude, and that's Kyle Pitts. Kyle Pitts, the man, the tight end, number eight. Are you expecting him to take that jump this year? Are we going to see touchdowns out of Kyle Pitts this year? Are we going to see that number jump up?
Yeah, I spent a lot of time with Kyle before camp started on the speaking circuit. I was hosting some of his stuff, and he's determined. He didn't like me. I said he caught 61 balls for 126 yards, and he was like 1,000. So he knows his stats, and he did not like the one touchdown. He didn't know what happened to him in the red zone, but he's determined to take it to the house every chance he gets. So he's a good play. Good play. I know I missed on him in my draft, and somebody took him a little, jumped up and took him. But certainly think he's in for a big season. And Arthur Smith directed me to this stat. He said, "Hey, go look at Mariota and Delaney Walker."
Yes.
I did that in 15 to 18, and that was a 1,000-yard season, 3 Pro Bowls for Delaney Walker. So guess who's getting the ball a lot? Kyle Pitts.
Number 8.
I'm a big tight end guy. Like that's what I specialize in. And Delaney Walker is the shining example of a guy who 7 years he was back up to Vernon Davis, and he finally got a chance. 5 years in a row, 3 years in a row as a top 5 tight end. So, and with this coach, with this quarterback,
they talked a little bit about this team's overall trajectory. How would you describe the philosophy of the team going into this year? Is this a rebuild philosophy, or how is the team looking at their current personnel and the path they're going to take going forward?
Yeah, they're rebuilding and hoping to get lucky on some things. We called it under construction in our preview section because, they're rebuilding from the, bottom up here. When you let go of the quarterback and take a $63.4 million dead salary cap hit, you're pretty much playing with a hand behind your back this year. So, what they're hoping to do, their best case scenario is, hey, they salvage Marcus Mariota like Tennessee did with Ryan Tannehill. I mean, granted, he had King Henry to lean on. There's no such person here for Mariota. So, they like to salvage him and develop their young talent. If they can't salvage Mariota, then they're going to be at the bottom of the league and back in the quarterback derby next year. So that's number one priority, is salvaging Mariota, behind a questionable line and a questionable weapon. So the outlook's not very great. And then, develop some players on the defensive side of the ball. Michael Walker, Tyquan Graham, you got Grady Jarrett, AJ Terrell. They're trying to teach and develop this year and not get their heads beat in for 17 games.
In hearing you talk there, and it makes a lot of sense. Eat the dead cap this year. If you hit with Mariota next year, all that Amazon money hits, right? And they're right back in it. So it's interesting. Yeah, that money's coming. It's coming, baby. So, but in listening to you talk, it doesn't sound like, and I don't want to put any words in your mouth here, but it doesn't sound like you're overly confident about Desmond Ridder. I mean, do you think we see him at all this year, or is he in the mix? I mean, because you said right back in the quarterback carousel, Desmond Ridder. Can you give us a little something on him? Where you're at with him?
Yeah, I like his deep ball. He clearly doesn't know what he's doing right now, where to go with it, and all that kind of stuff. That takes time. And just all I got to compare him to is, I've been here. It's Matt Ryan's rookie season, and that's an unfair comparison, and then I had Vic in the, near the end of his days here, so that's also an unfair comparison. So then I go look at Dominique Davis, some of the other developmental quarterbacks they brought in here. He's ahead of those guys. He's got a good ball. He throws a nice ball. It's not always on point. We saw a lot of balls on the ground this offseason, so it's going to be beneficial for him to sit and watch, kind of like on the Mahomes schedule or the Trey Lance schedule. And, as much as you can get to see him this year, the better. But, don't just put him out there for, for the sake of putting them out there when you don't have a chance to win. But if this thing goes south quick and they're upside down, there might be a point where, hey, might as well play them. And, that didn't happen last year, but it could happen this year.
As a neutral fan, because I'm a Patriots fan, and it's like, so I kind of root for that. I love seeing when they're like, you know what, let's give the kids a shot, and if he's a gunslinger, just throw him out there. It's like
see what happens.
Yeah. So
well, especially with you mentioning like the QB lottery next year, like there's a lot of good quarterbacks in this draft class. It's probably beneficial to the Falcons to see what Ridder's got. Like if they're not going to be making the playoffs anyways, you can throw Ridder out there, see what you got, see if he's the guy, see if you do have that high draft pick. If you want to trade it, because those are going to be high value picks next year with quarterbacks coming out.
Yeah, no question. And what you really don't want to do is what they did last year is amass 7 wins and then have a 146-point differential, which was the second highest in the NFC last year, which shows you you really should have been picking 1 or 2 and not 8 or 9. So
right,
that pesky Cordarrelle Patterson coming in,
he
converted wide receiver, kick returner comes in and just him and Matt Ryan pieced together.
Lights the league on fire.
Had to get rid of Ryan, dude. The best thing about Matt Ryan, a quarterback at this stage, and why the Colts are so interested in him is that he can he's a floor guy. Like he's going to win X number. He's going to beat bad teams. So if you're going to be a all or nothing team, you have to get him out of here.
I wanted to get your score prediction for the Falcons week 1 matchup. Are they taking down the Saints week 1? And what's that score going to be?
Yeah, I think they do. I think they do. It's going to be much like the first game down there last year. Where they got, Koo's going to come in and win it at the end, probably 31-28.
Bam, 31-28 with a field goal from Koo to finish it, man. And he's a fan favorite, I feel like. People love Koo over there. Daryl Orlando, Ledbetter, I want to thank you so much for coming on today, my man. We really appreciate you giving us some insight into what the Falcons are doing over there. Have a great rest of your day, man. Thank you so much for joining us.
All right, thank you, guys. Take care.
Cheers, man. Take care, bro. What a good dude,
that's
man.
Awesome.
Dude,
I just love getting someone in there where the answer to the question is like, I was talking to Arthur Smith and this is what he told me. Or like you ask him about Kyle Pitts, he's like, yeah, well, I was talking to him earlier. This man, just that that's my favorite answer. I just start cheesing as soon as that's what comes out.
And so good to have a guy that's truly connected to the team and willing to come in and pour some cold water on some of these situations where we get too carried. We're not connected to it. So we look at it. We're like, oh, I'll just go for the upside. And he comes in, he's like, Desmond Ridder's not ready. And he's like, Tyler Algier is probably 3rd on the depth chart. Like, these are things that you need to,